This is Dave Christador, and along with
Bob Christador.
Bob Christador, live from NIS, Note Investor Summit here in San Diego. I'm pretty sure you're being able to hear us right now, but if you can just kind of type in A-OK to us, let us know that you're able to hear this broadcast. We're kind of doing a little bit of a experimental thing, and we have a open Google Hangout going on right now, so you can actually see us. So can you tell us how to find that?
The best thing I can tell you is that it's on Google Hangouts. If you type in Note Peer2Peer, you should be able to find it if you go to Google Plus or Hangouts, one or the other. We're still a little unclear on how to get the invitations out, but we are broadcasting live, and this call will be recorded and up on YouTube later on tonight. I think it automatically will be published to YouTube. So one way or the other, you should be able to see us. And you can see we have a couple of guests with us tonight. So those of you who are on GoToWebinar, you're going to hear voices. If you want to see the people, you're going to have to go on Google Hangouts. But can't say for sure exactly how best to get to it right now. But I do know it's out there. Someone found the event for us.
Yeah.
So joining us today, besides Dave and myself, and do you want to cover the call rules? Do you think it's important?
Yeah, actually, you know, it's a little important. If you guys can hang on for 1 second, I'm actually going to call in on my phone and see if that sounds a little bit better. I just got a little feedback saying that this is a little choppy. So bear with us for 1 minute.
Well, those of you who are on Google Hangouts, we don't have that problem, and if we do, let us know. There's a chat box, I believe, that you can ask a question on. Unfortunately, on Google Hangouts, unlike GoToWebinar, we can't call on you if you raise your hand. So we're trying to figure out the best of both worlds here. And I know that Aaron, who is one of our, going to do a Hangout shortly, and so they're interested to see how this whole thing works. So this is an experiment. We appreciate you sticking with us. And Dave is doing something to get his phone
so
operating.
That they can hear you right
so
now.
They can. No, these people can hear me.
Oh,
those people can't hear me.
Are there a lot of people on that one already?
I don't know. Do you have this on mute?
I'm trying to get into this. Hang on. Should be coming on.
Yeah, all day.
Did that not work? Yeah, here we go. Okay. Boom. I think we're on right now. All right, guys, how's that? Give me a little feedback now. You sound good. Thank you very much. Who's that coming from? Brian. Thank you, Brian. Okay, cool.
All right, so real briefly, those of you who are on GoToWebinar, if you have a question, Dave, you want to show them the slide so they can...
Right. So, going there. All right, so it's open mic night. You sent me open mic night?
Yeah, I was trying to get the...
All right, you guys all know pretty much the rules, but I'll just go over this real quick. If for some reason you're not actually online with us right now and you're just listening in, you can text me to my cell phone if you have questions, and that number is 619-990-1442. And everyone that is on with us, you know, obviously participation is definitely encouraged. So please raise your hand, and I'll go on to the next slide right here to show you exactly where that is in the kind of upper left-hand corner of your little control panel there. And then obviously, if you are shy, you can just ask questions in the question log box there. So anyway, without further ado, we'll get on this. And we are in day one here at the Note Investor Summit, put on by Aaron Halderman, who's right behind us right
Hello,
here.
everyone. Hello. Thanks for having us.
As well as Travis Can you
Toll strip.
Toll strip. Toll strip.
Yep.
Okay, I wanted to make sure that I actually got that pronounced correctly.
Travis is very tall, so he doesn't fit the screen.
That's right.
We'll try and get him here later and have him sit down so you can all see him. So we're joined here tonight with, besides Dave and myself and Aaron, we have Bob. Zach Meyer from Tucson has been a regular guest on our show from time to time, and he was on 3 weeks ago, I guess it was, right after he got back from his cruise with Walter Walford, who's also here, and Mark Stein, who's been on before from Seller Finance Consultants. So basically, we just want to give you guys kind of a flavor on what went on during this first day. There's 2 more days to go, and the most exciting part of any of these meetings, besides the information that you get, is getting to spend time with quality people that are deeply invested in this business. So we're sorry you got this meeting was sold out. You didn't get to be part of this, but we're going to try and give you a flavor of what went on today. So I'm going to start with Aaron since he's the host, and he can kind of sum up exactly what he was trying to accomplish today and how well he thinks he did with that.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. So we had a great first day. Of course, we're out here in Old Town San Diego. At the very beginning, we kicked off the meeting like the big 3 as to why we decided to do the Note Investor Summit and host it each year. So those were service before self, so really giving back to the community. That's just been a huge part in what we've been able to accomplish in really a short amount of time. We're pretty big action takers, and as soon as we get any type of information or go through any type of course or attend a seminar, we go and take action. And we just met a lot of great people and mentors and friends along the way. The second one was expanding our network. We've, like I said, just been so fortunate for all the people who've been able to meet and hang out with and develop deep lasting relationships with, both on a personal level and business level, including Bob and Dave. So thank you guys for the support and the cause in the community. And so those were and ultimately get more deals done and create the place where real estate and note investors gather so that we can enjoy doing what we want to do on our personal times and create true cash flow. So I think it went pretty amazing. We had a packed house, and the energy seemed to be pretty great, and we definitely had some great speakers and some of our personal mentors there. And I don't know, what you guys think?
Well, that's what we're going to talk about right now. Hey, by the way, everybody, one of the things that came from this morning's meeting was Travis and Aaron's 5 business models to be how to make money in the note business. And as you know, we told you that they were going to be on in 2 weeks on our next call on the 26th of June. And I've implored them to give that same presentation. So the fact that you're not here today means you're not going to miss the entire thing. I apologize for the Travelodge bus that's pulling away right now. That's probably interfering with our sound. But so they're going to be on in the 26th. Make sure you don't miss this one because it'll really bring it all together for you. Dave and I have been in this for a couple of years already, and it really helped me even crystallize my own thoughts about how to deploy our capital. So, thank you again.
And we're definitely learning a lot about that.
All right, so I'm going to turn it over to our other 2 guests, Mark and Bob, to see what their big takeaway from this morning was, or today.
Well, Bob was a speaker earlier, and went on right before lunch, and it's probably, I gotta say, maybe I'm a little biased or something like that, but probably the biggest takeaway that most people, I think you got the highest standing ovation at the very end of that with a round of applause. Can you kind of elaborate on just
Sure. Basically, the biggest thing that's happening in the market is it's changing very quickly, and a lot of markets are really slowing down this year because last year there were a lot of still pent-up buyers that weren't in the market, or they hadn't been satisfied yet. They'd been out of the market for 3 years waiting for prices to go up, and then all the hedge funds were also in the market buying, so we had way more buyers in the market, and now all those buyers have either exited the market or they've been satisfied, so there's far fewer buyers. And then because it's 10 years since this peak started happening, all the people that bought at the peak have been making their payments for 10 years. So basically, there's a lot of people now that are finally able to sell their home, and they're putting them on the market, and we're seeing inventory increase in most markets across the country, which is causing appreciation to slow. And this is very important if you're buying notes, to know what price points, what areas are still appreciating, and to find a niche target market and really pay attention to the data to make sure that you're buying in the right place and with the right price point.
Yeah, just to echo the statements that you're hearing and what's spinning all around you. Had lunch with Dave and the two Bobs. If you saw the movie, you'll get a kick out of that. And the universal theme is one of the same. We are in the middle of a shift. We're in month 3 right now. It takes 6 months, at least in our market. We're in San Diego, and that's kind of cool to have an event here in our own backyard. And realistically, when a market shifts and the wave comes, you better get in front of it, because if you drag your feet, you're going to be trying to catch it, and playing catch-up is not a good game to play. And realistically, we are in a seller finance / creative finance market, and that is the state of the industry. And it's pretty exciting, because if you went to Noteworthy last
October,
yeah, not that long ago, there was Jack Sternberg and Mitch. All right. Anyways, Mitch something, and then that was it. Everyone was talking NPNs. We're talking about creative financing right now, and that's really it's all about creating deals, making deals work, and making deals happen. Because if you're sitting there taking orders or waiting for someone to get financed, not going to happen. You're out of luck.
So basically, just to reiterate the point, a third of the market is now conventional, and that market is shrinking. Is that a fair statement?
And the biggest thing, 40% of the buyers, this is just out last week from Ellie Mae, which is a mortgage tracking, and they have all the mortgage underwriting software. And of all the loans given in the last 12 months, almost 40% have been declined. That's not including all the people that didn't apply for a loan. That's the people that applied for a mortgage to buy a home and they were turned away. 40%. It's actually 60.7 that was approved. And then here was the shell shocker for me: the total or the average median FICO score. So the middle of the road FICO score of the loans they approved was 755. That's unbelievably high, and half of the people they gave a loan to was higher than the median.
You know, I thought I had a really good credit score in the 740s, but I'm actually below that. And it bogs my mind on that. But
so it's really cherry picking going on in the mortgage industry. There's a lot of really good people, self-employed people, people that have changed jobs in the last 2 years, people that have too many loans, and the banks don't want to give them a loan. So when you think of seller financing, a lot of people think bad credit, late on cable bill, deadbeat kind of people. That's absolutely not the case at all. There's a lot of really good people out there that need some help, and you can create notes instead of looking for other people's notes. There's a lot of stuff on the market that's really scary, and if you haven't taken a trip across the country to go look at some of these properties, I really urge you to do so. Boots on the ground is the only way to kind of understand what you're buying. And a lot of conventional wisdom says you can't buy in your own market. I would agree with that for the most part. I've had a really difficult time finding notes for sale in Arizona. That's why I create notes in Arizona.
So essentially this shift then is away from bank originated to seller originated notes. So that's where the opportunities are going to lie. And the great opportunity about a seller originated is it is a performing note immediately. So you're not dealing with making it reperform or spending money to try to get the property. You're actually able to get an immediate cash flow rate of return on a property that is occupied by the owner, the new owner.
You also know the area, you know the market, you know the buyer, you know the seller, you know the house.
So I'm actually going to play devil's advocate with you
Sure.
guys, since we're all kind of talking about the seller finance world. But let's say I'm a seller and I want to get all my cash out on selling my house, and I'm just for some reason in my mind I don't want to carry back something.
Sure.
Because I want to take that money and go put it into my next home. What would you say to that?
I would list the home with financing, and then I would bring in a retiree for the first 75% of the loan, and 7% interest rate is 35 times more than they earn at the bank. They will pay full face value for that note, unseasoned. And then the second, if the seller doesn't want the second, these buyers typically pay a premium for a property that has financing, just as if they would pay a premium for a property that has granite countertops. So that premium can be taken by the seller, or it can be discounted by the seller, and they can sell that second off to another investor. So if I had a note on a property for 25% of the value, and the note paid 8% interest, and you could buy that for half price, that would be a cash-on-cash return of 16%. And then at the end of the note, 5, 6, 7 years when it refis or sells, you would get twice as much as you paid for the loan when it pays out. So your rate of return at the end of that is going to be somewhere, depending upon how long the term, how long it lasts, but you would end up somewhere in the 30% plus range return on your money.
Wow, that's great. 'Cause I think that there's a lot of people out there that are, okay, great, so there's a seller finance note and it's the rate 7%, so I'm going to get 7%. But that's not true if you're coming in and bidding less,
Buying it for half price.
Buying it for half price, or buying it for any kind of discount that's going to add to your IRR, which a lot of people they'll look at the rate and that'll be what they focus most on when it's obviously you can calculate what you would get on that to get what rate you're actually trying to get. And so this is what you guys are, talking about putting together on a regular basis for note investors to come to put in their IRAs to cash flow and make great ROI.
And these are notes that were just originated by somebody that put a significant amount of money down. $25,000 down payment is pretty good skin in the game, and the chance of them throwing all that away the very next month or 6 months later for not making the payment, and basically the discount you can buy on that second is similar to what you might pay for a non-performing loan, and we have a loan that we just created with somebody that's got a lot of skin in the game and they don't want to lose it.
So one of the things that we've briefly touched upon now are partials, and a lot of discussion today about notes that are, however they've been originated, and buying only part of the note, particularly when you're dealing with a seller finance situation, and making sure that the loan to value for the investor is sufficient to cover their risk. So that's kind of one of the things that we're doing. What's going on right now is that there are people coming out of the meeting and they're going to be milling through here. So if you hear a lot of noise, you're going to understand that that the meeting's breaking up and they're getting ready to go to dinner. It's 5:30 here in California.
We do have a surprise guest that just showed up here. Actually, want to get him in here. Walter Wilford's with us, and a lot of you guys probably are familiar with him and possibly students of his. Walter, come on in.
Come on in.
Come on in. From Mississippi.
Mississippi. Oh, we've had a great day today.
Good. So what's your big takeaway for today? First of all, tell everybody who you are.
Walter Walker, Jackson, Mississippi, real estate investor, note manufacturer, buy houses for cash, sell them to landlord fixer guys with on terms or homeowners on terms. And that's my model. And we use IRAs to buy a piece of that note that we generate to get our capital. That's what we do. We've had a great time back there.
Okay, so now that you've said that, what was your big takeaway from today? What did you learn something new?
Oh yeah, I had a page full of notes of things that I'm going to implement, and it's so many great things about it. So many great things. You hold that right there?
Yeah, that's Mike.
Well, when we sell a house to a fixer guy, we create two notes. One that's fully amortizing first, and then the second is an interest accumulating loan to start at some point in the future. But the point that you asked about the AHA is we could sell a partial interest in that second mortgage, and there may be reasons that would be beneficial to do that in a tax-free environment. I never had that thought of the second mortgage selling the partial interest in it, so I'm going to explore that.
Now, selling it to an IRA investor who's
Yeah.
able to put that money away cheaply into their.
Well, I mean, if people invest in IRA funds because they want growth, and that would be an example of growth, or they want cash flow, that would be a growth model.
Okay.
Walter, I want to also let you know real quick that Mark is a student of yours and is basically the reason why I know you. And so he's continually sending me your videos and everything, and you need to check this out. This is like what we need to be getting into and everything. So you have like a very big fan right here and everything. So Mark, if you could ask Walter a couple questions that I'm sure are burning in your mind right now.
Sure.
With his expertise.
Yeah, definitely. If you guys get a chance, what's your website?
Well, the one that is the best access is the IRA Fund Crew. I mean, it's got, and you can get some signing up, you get some videos, but it's got all my contact. www.irafundcrew.com.
Okay, we'll send an email out tomorrow, and we'll give everybody the contact information, everybody that's been on the call tonight. So if you have any specific information that you're looking for, you'll be able to find their website or send them an email.
Yeah, definitely go to the cruise that's on our itinerary for next year. And yeah, I think right now, you know, we're one of the same real estate brokers that also invest and kind of straddle the fence and both sides. Like what you told the lady about teaching about the fact she didn't know anything about notes being in and around real estate brokers, which means she knows more than the rest of the brokers that she's around. That seemed to be a good target market. But yeah, where are we with respect to, at least from a national perspective? I know, you know, we're trying to make this relevant to the people that we're talking to. We know our market, obviously, in Southern California, you know yours, quite different markets. But from a general perspective, what we're starting to see, obviously, our market corrected faster than every other market other than Washington, D.C. Where do you see, you know, right now we're kind of in month 3 of a flattened period. Where do you see the opportunities in terms of the emerging shift that we're experiencing right now?
Oh, I don't really know. I don't have enough exposure to know what's going on in different marketplaces, really. And I'll just tell you what has happened in Mississippi is we've been declining for 7 years. And we just now hit the bottom, and we're lagging way back. I'm not even sure we've hit the bottom.
I don't know how much of the sound's coming through right now.
So it seems to me that you got to look at where you are rather than being at a national scale.
Right.
Because if you work in a market, then you need to be expert in that market. So I didn't answer your question.
So let me ask you this. A lot of people, I know for a fact, a lot of people on David Block's call, and a lot of their students are in the Phoenixes, the San Diegos, the Miamis, the markets that rebounded quick. And a lot of people, I think, are asking the same questions. What do we, you know, where should we make a shift? Where should we adjust, being the fact that we at a minimum we've capped out and we're at peak?
Well, I don't know how you know that. I don't know how you would know. You can't make a general statement about real estate. I know a lot of people do.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, well, real estate to me is not anything like real estate to you, but the techniques that we use are similar.
Right.
But the values, I would have no idea. So I'm not much help. I mean, it would be an arrogant statement for me to make a national evaluation about real estate based on my market.
So the market in Jackson, Mississippi versus San Diego, California is completely different. You can't really even compare them.
Well, we can't. Now, we both got houses. Okay,
Right.
we got houses, but you can buy a block in my town, what you buy one house over here. A block, maybe two.
Two city blocks.
It's like 10 times, right?
Well, it's the same dollars, but the returns are better because you got.
I was talking to somebody in the meeting today, and he's from Ohio. And he said he talked to someone else who was working in San Diego, and he said, "How much did you buy that note for?" He said, $400,000. He said, $400,000, you can buy the whole damn city.
What about this, Walter? We're now doing seller financing with Dodd-Frank era. Let's talk about that.
Well, I'm glad you guys have figured that out, because a lot of people have not. I mean, and it's hard to figure something out that they hadn't passed all the rules yet. But I know you guys do a good job, and I've seen that. I think Dodd-Frank means nothing to most real estate finance transactions.
Absolutely.
Certainly not to any investor deal.
Right.
It doesn't have anything to do with a cash deal.
Right.
So it's a homeowner, primary residence, making a loan deal. So I mean, I know you guys have cracked the code on that, and I would encourage whoever's listening to this to follow you, because not everybody has cracked the code. It's very complex. It's like 9,000 pages or something like that.
Yeah, 200 pages.
With 150 of the rules written of the 300 plus.
Yeah. Ways to go. Well, we thank you for being on. We want to introduce everybody to Melissa. And you have any more follow-up questions before?
I just had a quick question coming from Dave, and he's asking what's the rate of return for seller finance notes. Do you guys want to take this? I think we already kind of covered this.
What is the yield if you're going to buy one?
Right. Yeah. And
so, I don't know. In our market, we seem to be the 7 to 8% yield in a first position, low loan to value seems to attract enough dollars. Now, it wouldn't track if you're an active real estate investor, a rainmaker, you're used to higher returns than that. But for a passive investment that somebody else is managing, that might be the thing. That might be a good rate. So that's just in our market. That's what we're saying. So if you had a 5% face value note that you're going to discount to a 7%, you don't have to take as much of a discount to get the yield if you got a shorter amortization. And so our price point, we buy houses all the time for $20,000, all the time. And so we would turn around and sell them to a homeowner for maybe 40 or 50 with financing. And so we'd sell a piece of that note. Right? That's what you do.
Does that answer the question? Are they asking buying notes, or are they asking when offering financing?
I think the real answer is you negotiate that based upon what you're willing to purchase the notes for. So, I mean, if you want 12%, you make an offer based upon what a 12% yield would, and if the seller is willing to take it, you got a 12% yield. So there's no single one answer to that question. It depends on a lot of factors.
Right.
All right, so we were talking about partials, and I wanted to introduce everybody to Melissa Bowling, who was one of the speakers here today. And they put in Melissa on.
Walter.
Thank you,
Really,
Walter.
really appreciate you jumping in on that with us.
Hot seat, huh?
She's moving into the hot seat.
All right.
Okay, so you get the camera on her.
I'm moving a little closer to you, Melissa.
All right.
I had some questions myself, so I will start firing away. But why don't you kind of introduce yourself and your company, and just give a little bit of a background as to what you do for how your servicing company is separated from everyone else.
Well, I'm Melissa Bowling. I'm one of the principals at Allied Servicing Corporation. We are a boutique servicer up in Spokane, Washington. And my business partner and I came from an institutional investor who ran everything from the acquisition to the administration to the liquidation of their assets. I serviced a ridiculous number of seller finance loans that were bought either in whole or in part by Metropolitan. And so I've seen just about any way to buy cash flow and just about any cash flow you can buy from Metropolitan. When they closed their doors, my partner, who headed up the acquisitions department there at Met, we basically partnered in to provide the same services that Met had for themselves to holders of seller finance real estate. And it has ballooned. We have institutional clients. We have private investors with a single loan. We have private investors with dozens of loans. So.
And so today you were mainly tackling how the partials are done. So how someone can set up we'll use an example of seller finance loan, and a seller finance note, and maybe sell the last 10 years, or keep the last 10 years and sell the first 20 years of that note to somebody else. Can you kind of give a little bit of the background on that for those who don't really quite understand that?
Absolutely. When you're looking at a cash flow that's going to could extend 20 to 30 more years, you have the option to essentially cash out a portion of that cash flow in exchange for a lump sum. You could take that lump sum, turn it around into multiple other different types of investments, and retain an interest in the end cash flow. So if you've got 20 years left on the note, you could sell 5 years. And in 5 years, that note could revert to you and you could continue to receive the monthly payments, or it will pay off in that 5 years and you'll get a lump sum. But it's a great way to get a lump sum that you can use today to invest in more notes, more properties, out of an already performing asset that you have, as opposed to getting a monthly payment of $700 a month for the next 30 years.
The ROI is better when you're doing the quicker money,
Yes.
quicker cash flow deals. And so one question that I did have in there actually was, you were using an example of someone selling the first part of the note to somebody and then carrying and then pull down to the last part. Can it be done the other way around? Is one worth more than the other?
It can be done anyway. If you retain front-end interest and then eventually reassign to your investor, that is what we call a reverse partial. Essentially, a partial is when you sell the front end. A reverse partial is when you sell the back end. The back end is worth less today because they've got to wait for their money. So it's less cash in your pocket, but it may be more important for you to receive income for a period of time, perhaps to support other business operations before you turn over that cash flow to someone else. You can also do a split disbursement, which is where you share the actual payment. Maybe you receive a quarter and they receive 3/4, or however you split that down. You receive a lump sum for their right to receive some of those payments, but then you also maintain a small income over that remaining period of that loan. It really has to do with what kind of cash flow the seller needs and what kind of exposure the purchaser is willing to take in the note.
Okay. And when you say that you can put it together any way, it could be, so if it's a 30-year note, we'll say that it could be split up 5 and 25. It can be split up 15 and 15. It can be split up any way. There's no regulations or rules that say that one has to be something, one has to be another.
No, and it's all in the documentation. As long as you have a strong agreement that clearly outlines who is entitled to what money when,
so
you're in great shape.
You could do like 1 and 29 and keep the one in the front, so you're getting that cash flow right off the bat, and then sell the other 29 off to somebody else. So you actually made some in the front, and then with that cash flow that you made, took that and put it into something else that might be yielding you something else somewhere else too.
And you could sell that front end and then come back to that same investor or a new investor and sell another piece.
Okay.
You almost use it like an ATM.
So
You could actually cash out as you need the lump sum.
how much can you be involved in structuring something like that? Can you be an advocate for that, or an advisor?
We can provide some assistance. We have a stock agreement that we stand behind, and we're more than happy to share. We can help with the calculations as far as what is the amount purchased, what's that dollar amount going to be. Generally, the negotiation portion, however, is handled between the seller and the purchaser. We usually come in when there's a deal in for. Yep.
You can help advise on the structure.
Yes, we can help them, what documents they're going to need to document the transaction and how to fulfill it.
Right. So those of you out there who have notes for sale or notes that you might consider selling, there's another idea on how you can only sell part of it, and Melissa's someone that can help you decide how to go about structuring that, and then if you choose to do it, help with the whole process of documenting the note and then servicing it for you after the transaction is completed.
Absolutely. Of course, we'll service a normal transaction for you too. But we can also service the partials. We keep track of everybody's amortization. We know what's going on with the receivable. We know what's going on with the partial. So we know at any time what that remainder interest is worth. So, our system is designed for that. Not all servicers are ready for that or willing to do that. But, we're certainly there to assist.
And if you don't mind, I want to switch up things from performing to non-performing because we also have that as a factor that we talk about too.
Right.
And somebody else who really joins us in a second talks about non-performing, so it's perfect to go to right now. With non-performing loans, non-performing notes that you're servicing, can you talk about what you do for those to actually send out letters and get them reperforming and why it's in your best interest yourself to actually get them reperforming for your clients too.
With non-performing loans, it's really all about that first 30 days they're on our books. We're getting them boarded. We're checking death records, we're checking bankruptcy records, we are skip tracing, we are trying to contact them, we're inspecting the property, either via traditional property inspection or door knock, and we're really front loading the contact attempts to try to get a hold of the borrower, find out why they stopped paying, what's different now, what are their intentions, how do we want to proceed. And in that same 30 days, we're sending out that notice of demand, we're starting the foreclosure clock ticking. For $75, it's worth it to save that 30 days and just have that out there. And it acts as impetus to a borrower who wants to retain their home. So you really front load that first 30 days. After that, if we're confident we know where the borrower is and we know that they're avoiding us or they're ignoring us, that's when we usually recommend let's move on to foreclosure, let's work on through there. Continually still trying to reach the borrower, but there's only so much you can do with a borrower who's gone completely dark and is just living there for free as long as they can.
Mm-hmm. And they're not wanting to respond to you in any kind of way, no
Absolutely.
matter how much you want to work together.
Exactly. They exist. It's impossible for the rest of us to comprehend sometimes, but they're out there.
And that's been the catch-22 in my mind that's kind of come up before. So you send out the nice letter being like, hi, hello, we've taken on your loan. Here's how we can work with you. Here's our 7 different ways, loan mod, cash for keys, all these different ways to keep them out of foreclosure. And then obviously number 7 or 8 or whatever you put on there is if these all don't work, then obviously we're prepared to foreclose. Or do you just go straight into, boom, we're going to foreclose on you unless you get back to us as soon as possible. And then when they do get scared on that, then you say, oh, but there are other ways that we can work together on this. Which do you think is better? Why?
I think that the threat of foreclosure has less power the longer that the default is aged, because they have had foreclosure initiated in some cases multiple times and never gone to the end. So they're not convinced, A, that you're going to do it. So you might as well, in my opinion, if they don't respond to your servicer's required letters, the RESPA letter, the monthly statements, the coupon package, whatever's being sent out, you know what? Start the foreclosure. They're too long and too time consuming to not start on the front end. And you can always stop. That, really comes down to it. But some borrowers, and I've seen it repeatedly, if they've got a significant amount, maybe 4, 5, 6 years of delinquency, they are not coming to the table until the week before the sale. And then they'll be like, what can I do? And granted, the options are considerably limited at that point. It's cash or leave, but that's how long it takes to get some of them to the table. Now, on non-performing, I will say that if you do get them reperforming, a non-performing asset initially becomes a perfect candidate to sell a partial, because you can make every dollar back that you have spent because you pay such a low price, even when you put in money for foreclosure taxes and whatnot. But if you got it reperforming, you can partial it out for everything that you put in plus some, and then still have the back end as windfall. So it's a great exit on a reperforming.
That's really, I never really thought to put those two together, really, because you always think obviously if you're getting it reperforming, then that's a performing note.
And there are people out there who want to buy it.
Great. Well, thank you so much for joining us here. Do you want to give a little plug for Allied Servicing real quick and let people know how they can get in touch with you for your services?
Absolutely. You can visit our website, which is www.allservicing.com. Give our office a call, 877-893-0240. You can ask to speak to myself. I'm Melissa, or you can ask to speak to Sheila. She's the other principal there. We're more than happy to help you out in all stages of your real estate investment.
Great. Thank you so much, Melissa.
All right, thank you for having me.
Definitely. And with that, we're gonna bring Gordon Moss in here with Quixote Investments.
Yeah. Future Golf Pro.
Right. Future Golf Pro. Right. We were talking about that. So, for those of you who don't know Gordon, he's in the non-performing seconds world, and I myself am not very seasoned in that in any kind of way. So I'm just going to turn it over to him and say, please, introduce yourself and let us know how a little bit about that.
And before you go there, make sure that you tell everybody what your takeaway. What was your aha moment? What did you learn today too, besides what it is that you did?
Okay.
And then we'll go to Rich.
Okay. Once again, my name is Gordon Moss with Quixote Ventures. I'm here in Solana Beach, California, north of San Diego, and I'm a non-performing junior lien guy, and I've come down that road from a lot of different angles. I'm a real estate guy too. I've got a website. It's called realestateandnoteinvesting.com. There we go. So once again, I'm a note guy and I'm a real estate guy. I tell you, my biggest aha, and frankly, I already knew it, that these guys are good guys. I don't know Aaron and Travis that well, but they seem like real high character, high integrity guys, and that's what that's kind of this little niche that we've got here. The note business is unique that way, in my opinion. The people share like no one's business. You've got these seasoned guys that will tell you everything, and you think, well, why would he do that? Why is he letting me in on all the secrets? And maybe I'll take his business away. Maybe you will. He's not threatened. He doesn't care. So it's just a nice environment, and that's what I'm after, is a nice environment with people that have like minds, entrepreneur types, people that go and make it happen, don't talk about it, but do it.
Abundance thinking.
Abundance mentality. I think that's the best way to put it. And that's the way to, you can see the world either way. And the people that see it like this, scarcity, a lot of them are broke, in my opinion. And a lot of them, the few that see it this way, not all of them, I think it's a better way to live. It's the giving thing. And you can do a lot better yourself. You have a lot of great friends. I'm about the friends. I've got great friends in this business all around the country, which bring a lot to my life. And that's why I'm in this business. So that was my biggest aha, was just that, these guys are what I thought they were. And I think this is a great conference.
Great. That's awesome. So,
one other thing you said to me, and I thought it was important, the difference between short-term thinking and longer-term thinking and what you do.
Okay.
So could you just elaborate on that point?
In my presentation today, I showed results. So we can all talk and project and get an HP calculator out and get that thing smoking. But guess what? That's a projection. Okay. Let's talk about some real results. And I showed my results. And one of the key parts of it is you're saying 36 months. It took me 3 years to get these non-performing junior liens from start to finish. 3 years. That's a long time. Most investors would go, whoa. But once again, I'm a long-term thinker. I think most of the wealthy guys are of that ilk, and I'm a buy and hold guy. I buy and hold forever. I never sell. I'm like Warren Buffett. I don't pay taxes either, because I don't sell. So a long-term perspective, if you can change your mind, in my opinion, from flip, 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 and I gave an example of a dolphin with a big chain on its tail, the flipper, which is a great way to make money, and we all got to eat. But guess what? On your long-term investment plan, flipping is not it. It's about buying and holding, and I think the non-performing junior lien is a great way to buy a big asset, a $100,000 asset for, say, 15 cents on the dollar, get it performing, and keep it forever in your IRA, tax-free. What's better than that? So the long-term perspective, to your question, that's my best answer.
And so my question, that's more of the long-term, short-term. You were also brought up active versus passive, and the difference in that, and how some people are thinking that they can just get second non-performing seconds and just put them in their IRAs and forget about them.
Yeah.
And that's more of a passive investor.
Yeah.
Tell us the difference in mind on that.
I've seen many go down this path thinking it's less hard than it is. It's very hard. Very hard. Once you get the notes, which I like the way this business works, because I'll go to a hedge fund and buy 20 notes. My marketing's done. I got the notes now. These borrowers got to come through me, but I've got to wake them up. I've got to work them out. That is a tough. It's like picking a fight with all your borrowers, and you think, well, that sounds kind of negative. Well, once you get them to understand that you're a human being, as opposed to the bank, which is an institution, and you can work with them. And I tell people, I say, I'm here to help people who want to be helped. Are you one of them? Well, great, let's go. Otherwise, I got a whole stack of files and I'm busy. So I can help people. So it's not that bad vulturous business, but I forget where I'm going with this whole thing. But
Active versus passive.
yeah, I make a whole speech about that. I talk about Ernest Shackleton and how he had a South Pole expedition, and 3 people signed up. He put this ad in the paper saying, dark, cold, for months at a time, chance of success maybe. This is a hard business. This is the most difficult thing I've ever done, but also the most profitable thing I've ever done. And it's out there right now. So I tell people, I say, don't come. Don't come if you're not ready for that. And I almost paint the picture a little too dark for them, saying, you know what, if you're a shiny object chaser, go chase somewhere else, because this isn't it. But if you are that guy, you can make this happen, and you can do very well, as I've done. Or from a passive perspective, there are people with funds out there where you can say, I see what you're doing, Gordon, but I got a full-time job, or I'm not that guy anymore, and you can invest passively. So there is a passive avenue opportunity here, but I kind of focus on the guys and say, are you one of us? And it's a small warrior group that does this thing, the junior liens, and I want to make it that way and say, you know what? A lot of these guys say it's all easy, anybody can do this, why can't you? This is not that deal. It's a tough deal.
Now, one last thing I want to ask is, you said that you've never foreclosed before on anybody. So can you tell us about that? Because I'm sure that most people, when they're getting into a non-performing lien, whether it's a first or a second, on their mind is, obviously I'm going to have to be prepared to foreclose if they're not willing to work with me.
Okay, let me edit your comment a little bit. Okay. Because what I said was I foreclosed very, very rarely. Okay. I have foreclosed about less than 6% of the time, and it's not my main strategy, but I will do it. I'll prove to the borrower that, guess what, we are serious, and we will do this. I've actually deeded a house back to somebody and created a new note after foreclosing on them. I've actually taken properties subject to the first. So you can foreclose, but let me make the distinction like this. With a first lien, a non-performing first lien, in my opinion, what you're doing, you're going after the property. It's about collateral, collateral, collateral. The junior lien, different strategy. It's the borrower, the borrower, the borrower. So I'll do extreme due diligence on your credit report, not on the property. I'm looking at you, and I'm saying, let me see, does he make his car payment on time? Does he pay his alimony? Is it he and his wife in the house with a dog and a kid and go to church down the street? That's emotional equity. I think he'll pay me. I think it's a good bet. Might I threaten to foreclose him? Yep. Do I actually finish it? Rarely.
And talking about the emotional equity and the actual house, and not to mention, obviously, usually on, like, you use an example on a house that is up in LA when you were driving down Sunset Boulevard. Yeah. You knew of a house that was up there that was like in the 500 range or so, and you had you owned the guy's second that was non-performing for about 100, right? So obviously, and you got that for 12 cents on the dollar.
Yes.
Right. So you got into that for $12,000 to 100 grand, $12,000. Obviously, you didn't know what you paid for that, and if you were trying to get into a non-performing first on that same house in LA, that would have been a ton more of an investment to get into.
Let's call it $300,000 first. I would have had to pay 80 or 90 cents on the dollar, almost $260,000, $70,000 for a non-performing first lien. I paid $12,000 with a $100,000 second. That to me is a better bet.
That was awesome. Yeah. And then you want to just tell us how that ended up working out?
Yeah, it's one of my better notes. I will say that. And I told the story about driving up Sunset Boulevard for a reason, because they own a chain of foot spas there, and I wanted to see how the business worked. If it was legitimate, if they had income coming in to support to pay me, because the bottom line is now they're paying me $1,000 a month for the next 27 years. on my $12,000 investment, that's good. I don't
So
need
you
to
got your
calculate
money
the value.
back in the first year, and you got 26 years of income after that.
Yes.
That's a pretty good investment.
And they don't all work out that way.
Yeah, I understand.
But I've had some better than that, and some worse.
Well, thanks very much for joining us here. I'm looking forward to seeing you for the rest of this weekend. Before you go, you want to tell people how they can, reach out to you and learn more about your business.
Yeah. So I created a website. I'm no web pro, but it's real estate and noteinvesting.com. Real estate and noteinvesting.com. I'm also the best-selling author of a book. It's on Amazon and Kindle, and it's called Performance Anxiety: How to Create a Fortune in Non-Performing Loans. And so it's out there. It's $10 or something like that. But so I'd encourage you to. It's a high-level book. It's not that detailed, but it'll give you a good view of this business, what we're talking about right now.
Great. Gordon, thanks very much. Really appreciate it. Good luck with that golf game. We'll see you on the links, huh?
All right.
All right. And it also is U.S. Open time right now, so that's going on. The next person we want to bring up here before we close things out today is Rich. Sorry, how do you pronounce your last name?
My last name is Worcester.
Worcester.
Yes.
Rich Worcester. Rich and I met just on Tuesday night at the.
It's not like the Boston Worcester.
Exactly, pronounced that way anyway.
Are you from Boston?
No, I'm from Oceanside, a little town just north of here.
Good. No Boston ties in any kind of way.
No, actually, yeah, that northeast, the whole family going back a few generations is from that area.
Oh, okay. Are you a baseball fan?
Yeah.
Are you?
I'm a Padre fan.
Okay,
though, so
cool.
A little sensitive about that.
I can respect the Padres. I just don't like the B team. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do.
So,
not at all.
my pinstripes are horizontal right now. But that just shows you.
I'm I'm an NL guy anyway. Dodgers, Padres, that kind of thing. Giants, no.
No.
Well, as I was saying, we met on Tuesday night at the SDCIA, which is San Diego Creative Investors Association meeting. Bill Tam puts on, who's going to be here later on this week, and a guy named Robert Campbell, who you're close with as well, and your business is related to his. So he was speaking on that, but I'm just going to go ahead and turn it over to you, and please, talk to us about how the housing market and everything is doing as a whole right now.
Well, that's what Robert talked about. Robert is of course, he's a UCLA economist and has credentials and a real sense for this market, for the business. So I don't pretend to be Robert caliber, but I study what he says. I'm a real estate agent, and I'm an engineer by trade, so I have an analytical gene that I just can't deny. So I pay attention to what he says. We think that the real estate market is going to be solid for the next few months at least. I mean, if you want to get real into the micro look, in San Diego and California overall, it's going to be strong. It's going to stay steady. It may bump up just a little bit value-wise. And for the next few months anyway, probably the remainder of 2014. Today's June 12th. With that being said, there are some real heavy-duty storm clouds on the horizon. The debt crisis in this country is going to come home to roost someday in a big way, no doubt, and we are worried that would affect the real estate market. Interest rates are historically low now and have been for many, many years, and so we've kind of settled into a low interest or almost zero interest debt environment, that when that changes, when rates go up, there will be some serious implications in the real estate market. So, there's a lot of good news right now, but in the long run, you just need to be nimble and be able to act quickly and get liquid and out of the market, because that's coming. We all think. Robert,
out of the market. Are you talking about the stock market? Or are you talking about the real
I'm
estate
talking about real estate market, the real estate market. I'm not a stock market guy. You want to make money in the stock market, just do the opposite of what I do. You're guaranteed to make money. So, but
I think most of us are here because we feel the same
I'll
way.
make sure to call you and ask you for reverse
yeah, that's right.
investment advice.
What are you doing right now? And then do the opposite. But you know, when I say the market, I'm talking about the real estate market, and right now it's solid. San Diego is a very stable market, probably the most stable if not in the state, in the country even. It's very stable. So we use it as you know, kind of a shining example of what government intervention can do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm a big fan of Bruce Norris, Robert Campbell. There are a few other people, a gentleman named Christopher Thornburg. These people are all economists types. They they pay attention to what's going on in the market and how it affects real estate, the direction. And then you have the talking heads on CNBC and Fox Business, which you need to pay attention to what they have to say because they're always alerting you to new trends and news. But you also have to take what they say with a grain of salt because they have a much more agenda-based attitude. Whereas these people I'm talking about, Chris Thornburg, or Bruce Norris, Robert Campbell, myself, we're just out there to try and tell people what we think the market's going to do. There's no agenda for me personally. So.
No, and the graphs that you were showing earlier today that kind of related to Roberts on Tuesday in terms of just differences in how things have been moving, where home sales have been going, and you can see different graphs, and obviously you're seeing it spiking way up over 2006 to 2008, and then coming down and kind of rebounding a little bit, but now it's looking like it's kind of flattening out, but it's still under that median line that you had up there. You know what I'm talking about?
Right,
So,
absolutely, yeah. I mean, there seems to be room to run going up.
Anytime soon.
Maybe not. The thing is that when things go bad, they go bad hard and fast. So, back in 2006, 2007, the market was going up. It was sputtering, and people were still jumping in and thinking it was on the way up, and then it just went straight down. And we may be near that now. Maybe we are. Maybe we aren't. We don't know for sure. So you just have to be nimble. Like I said, you got to be able to get out, or if you're buying, be nimble and get out quickly if that's your plan. If you're there for the long run, just make sure you get the best deal you can because you may actually go underwater or you may lose in the short term. But if you have a long-term plan, then you're good.
So, what's your aha moment from the conference?
Well, I am extremely impressed. First of all, I think I would agree with Gordon and everybody else. Travis and Aaron I didn't know them beforehand. I know Travis for a while, but I didn't really see him in the business world. I'm very impressed. Their integrity just seems to be just spot on. I'm very happy to see that. And as far as the other speakers and the attendees, I sense a level of a little more financial sophistication, a little more confidence in what they're doing as opposed to the people that I deal with in my real estate investment group, where are a lot of newbies, a lot of unsure people, a lot of people who haven't done any homework yet. The people here, they know where they're going.
So next year you're going to have to make your attempt to be here so you can meet all the people that we're introducing you tonight. Thank you for coming on. We want to get Travis on so he can wrap up the show.
Let me grab Belinda real quick because she has a
We need to
little
get
bit of. Oh, we
he's been
definitely.
waiting.
Okay. Oh, thank you, Rich.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you
it
so
very
much.
much.
Thank you.
Jump on in here.
Step into the hot seat. Step into the hot seat.
So we told you
It's the other
Travis was too tall to have him stand up, so we have him
I'm
sit
sitting
down.
up as high as I can get right now, and he's still taller.
So this,
Trying to slouch in his chair to get down here. So.
This is exciting.
How
I'm so
tall
glad
are you, by the
you're
way?
at 6'8",
6'8".
6'8".
I am barely at the 6 foot line. I like to say I'm 6 foot, but I'm probably about maybe a quarter inch under it or
that's why you
something like
split your hair so you
So-
can get up there.
It's like that's crazy. But so you first started things off this morning, and I really like listening to your presentation because it really just kind of put the find, fund, flip, fix, and
Flow,
fix
yeah,
and flow,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
That and how they combine for different kinds of strategies. Some were more for the active investor, some were more for the passive investor and everything. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit on
what's your main strategy that you're doing for each one of those?
I would love to. Dave is referring to the 5
Yeah, but before
note
you
investing
go
profit
there,
pillars. Go
I've
ahead.
already got you committed 2 weeks from tonight to give everybody the 5 investment strategies. So don't give it away now.
Oh, so should I be?
So maybe I just already
spilling all the beans.
I already kind of gave a little bit of a teaser there, but you want to make
Well,
a better
here's
teaser
what
for
I
it?
would say. The one thing, and the reason I wanted to kick off the event with what I talked about this morning, I wish that I would have had that particular presentation right when I got started. Because when I got involved, what I felt I had to go do was to go to every single possible event, join every single possible mentoring, because I wanted the fast track ticket to get exposed to all the different opportunities. Because we know just in real estate investing in general, how many different ways are there to make money? And it's very similar in the note investing side of things. And so what I wanted to do, and what's interesting is that presentation this morning was really a result of me going through all of that discovery mode, finding out where it's at. And, without going into too much of it, because we're going to be talking in 2 weeks, but the key is what's right for Dave might not be right for Travis, based on our circumstances and what we're trying to accomplish, right? And we might have a similar goal, right? 10,000 a month in passive cash flow as an example, or 5 or 7 or 2, whatever it is. We might have a similar goal, but you might have a full-time business you run. I might have all this free time on my hands. I might be able to tackle a completely different approach to the note business that you can't do it because you don't have the time. So that's really what we talked about this morning, and it was very well received. I was grateful. A lot of people had comments about that it was very helpful, and everybody committed to get their one-page written plan done, which we'll talk more about in a couple weeks, which is key.
By Saturday evening
That's
at
right.
5
That's
p.m.,
right. 5 p.m. Pacific time.
5 p.m. Pacific time. We are all going to have one page written, absolute SMART goals. I like that acronym. I learned this before. Specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time. SMART goals and everything, like really get that specific on what exactly it is versus just out there. So I'm definitely going to take that on there. Travis, thank you so much for this. Has been this. I want to congratulate you guys, you and Aaron. This is this whole event was very, very professional. It is your first one you guys have done,
Our
right?
first annual, and stay tuned from the Christodori family for the information on how to come in February. We'd love to have you guys come in February, and we'll have information out, and we'll make sure to pass that on to you guys, and you can get that out February 5th, 6th, and 7th. We're here in San Diego. It's not actually going to be biannual. It's not going to be twice a year. It's going to be once. But June in San Diego is when everybody graduates, as it is across the country. And a lot of the pre-summit questionnaires we put out there, people requested February and March. They had a time to do the event. So that's what we're doing. And so we'd love to have you guys, and stay tuned for more information here shortly.
Awesome. Thanks so much.
All right, thanks for having me, you guys.
having us
Appreciate it.
here.
Robert, thank you so much.
And
But Belinda said she had to move on, so she'll come on and do a separate.
Oh, okay, cool. Well,
separate one.
I'll go ahead and put a little something out here and switch this around for you guys before we close out. There is going to be a golf tournament if you are in the San Diego area or you plan on being here on Wednesday, July 16th. There's going to be a golf tournament it's called the Summer Financial Seminar and Golf Outing, put on by IRA Services Trust Company by Belinda Savage. And let me find.
Say goodbye. We're just
let me
wrapping
find-
up.
oh, and here's Aaron real quick.
Hey, everyone.
So Aaron again kicked off this with us about an hour ago, and he's back to kind of end things with us now. He's Travis's partner.
Travis just left and
good.
invited everyone for February. So
Oh, very cool.
We'll be sending out links to
Oh,
everybody.
great. Yeah, hopefully we're sorry you missed this one, and we hope to see you back out here in February. That'd be amazing. And I guess we'll be on in 2 weeks, right?
2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
He knows about that too. And,
Great.
So he's like,
We look forward to that.
so
So
we almost spilled the beans, but we stopped him from telling everybody what we're going to talk about.
that's cool.
Aaron was actually up earlier talking, kind of going back and forth with Matt.
Matt
right?
Kelly, yeah, with Trustee Corps.
And he's basically trustee corps and talking about due diligence, and obviously everyone's always wanting to know about due diligence. You can never learn enough about due diligence.
I have a pretty good checklist that I can give to you guys if you want to share to the network. That's fine.
That'd be
Just
awesome.
like put it in a PDF or something and
Yeah, send it to
go
me.
through, and
and
y'all
I-
can send it out.
And it was great. It was everything. It was performing, non-performing, everything out.
Yeah, and then I broke it down into the 6 elements and characteristics of a note.
Yeah.
So I'll send that to you guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll send an email out tomorrow with a link to the recording and a link to the PDF that we'll get from Aaron.
Sounds good.
Perfect.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Thank you.
Aaron.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. You want to let them know how they can get in touch with you if they want
Yeah.
to if they want to make sure that they can sign up for that
Yeah, so-
summit next year early.
Yeah, so you can email me. My private email is Aaron, AARON, at capstonefundinggroup.com. And then my phone number is 602-492-7363. And that's my private Google Voice number that rings me wherever I'm at. So shoot me an email, give me a call, or text me. So
And we'll have a
Great.
link to the website too.
great.
And
Sounds
I
good.
believe they are in the market for good non-performing notes too, right?
Yeah, we're always looking for stuff to buy. Absolutely. So thanks for having us on, guys.
Awesome,
Thank
man.
you.
All right, we'll see you in a
Thanks
bit.
lot, bud.
All right,
Appreciate
thanks.
it.
Yep, see you guys.
All right.
Cool.
Bye.
Before we completely sign off here and say adios from the 2 peer-to-peer presenters here, I just want to finish off on that golf tournament. If you're interested in being part of that, you can contact Belinda at iraservices.com. It's going to be a pretty awesome deal that day. Actually, I was talking with her about everything, and I think that it's going to probably be a scramble format, so it'll be fun. You don't have to have an A game to come. There's a small cost of only $65 per person, but that includes everything, including golf.
Yeah. But the important thing is it's going to precede the California Mortgage Association's meeting, and this is going to be a preliminary event to that. And most of the people who will be playing will be California mortgage brokers. So if you're interested in originating notes, that's a group of people you want to know.
Right. Great. So is there stuff here that we got to...
Okay, so what you're looking at right now is just a preview for what we thought we were going to talk about in 2 weeks. Travis has got a background from the medical profession.
Hangout
period.
bomb. Hangout bomb.
And I don't know what the hell that is.
It's a photo bomb, only a hangout bomb since we're on the hangout.
Yeah, I got it. Okay. So, but anyway, we're not going to do that topic. The topic is going to be the 5 business models and how to make money in the note business, which is what Travis talked about when he was on a few minutes ago. So that's 2 weeks from tonight, 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern. Please join us, and we're going to try to get some feedback from you guys about how the Google Hangout went. For those of you who joined us there, because we can't see how many people are out there. So if you are, drop me an email, Robert at 415-264-0123. .com.
Okay, sounds good.
Hey, I did.
I know, I don't know what it is. I'll find out after this show's over. With that, we're going to say good night. We've had enough talking.
Good night and good luck. NotePeer2Peer.com and RENoteExchange.com. We will be having a lot more product of especially seller finance notes that are just being originated now, coming very soon. So keep your eyes peeled for that. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks very much for joining us.
So before we say goodbye, I just want to add to that point is that one of the things that we do at these meetings is find people that have things for sale. So the reason why we're going to have more is because we're getting supplied from being at this meeting. So stand by. Good night, all.
Good night, everybody.
think it's stop recording.